Have you ever wondered why some people wake up with answers while you wake up with the same old worries? Why some people seem to receive money in unexpected ways while you work so hard and still struggle to make ends meet? Why clarity comes to others in their sleep, while your sleep brings only more exhaustion, and you wake feeling as tired as when you laid down? Tonight, that pattern shifts. Not because you will do something difficult or complicated, but because you will do something profoundly simple. You will sleep, and while you sleep, the golden sleep formula will work in ways your conscious mind cannot interfere with or block or sabotage. This is night, one of 7 nights, and each night builds upon the previous night like layers of foundation being laid in the dark, where no one can see the work being done, but the work is being done. Nonetheless, Florence Scovel Shinn discovered this formula in Manhattan in the 1920s when she was working as an artist and spiritual teacher in a small apartment on West 57th Street, and she realized through years of observation that the subconscious mind during sleep is 10 times more receptive than the conscious mind during the waking day. Because during the day, the ego fights and resists and argues with every new idea, but during sleep, the ego rests and the soul emerges. She taught that your last thought before sleep becomes your first creation upon waking. And this is not metaphor, this is mechanics. And tonight, you will plant one thought, one decree, one seed in the fertile soil of your sleeping mind. And for the next 7 nights, this seed will grow in the dark soil of your sleeping hours, where you cannot see it growing, but it is growing nonetheless. The way all seeds grow in darkness, beneath the surface, where the eye cannot witness, but the growth is happening. You do not need to believe this teaching for it to work. You do not need to understand the mechanics of how this operates for it to operate. You only need to allow this process to unfold, and allowance is more powerful than effort. Close your eyes now if they are not closed already, and everything that needs to happen will happen while you rest. Your only job tonight is to sleep deeply and to let the formula work in you, through you, and for you. Before you drift deeper, I invite you to touch the subscribe button now, because tomorrow you will need night 2, and the day after that, you will need night 3. And this journey is 7 consecutive nights. And if you subscribe at this moment, each night will find you at the exact right time when your soul is most ready to receive the next layer of teaching. And in the comments, write only 2 words, which are day 1. When you write day 1, you join thousands of other souls who are beginning these 7 nights tonight with you in this same hour. You are not doing this work alone, even though you may be lying in your bed by yourself right now. The field is stronger when we witness together, and when thousands write day 1, the field strengthens for everyone who participates. If you choose not to do this right now, that is perfectly fine, and your path is your own. But know that this present moment is the moment of greatest power. So if you feel any alignment at all, do it now before you drift into sleep. Good. Now rest completely and let your body begin to soften. Your body is beginning to relax now without any effort on your part. You do not need to force relaxation, because relaxation comes naturally when you stop trying to control every little thing. Notice your breathing, and you do not need to change it or deepen it or control it in any way. Simply notice it as it is. Air moves in through your nose or mouth. Air moves out. Your chest rises with the inhale. Your chest falls with the exhale. This is happening without your conscious effort, and it has been happening since the moment you were born. Your body knows how to breathe. Your body knows how to sleep. Your body knows how to receive. And tonight, while you sleep, your body will receive what your worried mind has been blocking for months or years or decades. Let your jaw loosen now, and you may not have realized your jaw was clenched. But most people carry tension in the jaw from holding back words they wanted to say, or holding back emotions they did not feel safe to express. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears, and notice how much tension you have been carrying in your shoulders, as if you have been holding up the weight of the world. Let the weight of your entire body sink into whatever surface holds you right now, whether it is a bed or a couch or a chair or the floor. You are safe here in this moment. You are held here by something larger than yourself. And what I am about to share will enter you, whether you hear every single word or not, because some of you will fall asleep in the next few minutes, and that is absolutely perfect. Some of you will drift in and out of sleep, hearing some parts clearly and missing other parts entirely, and that is also perfect. Some of you will hear everything while remaining awake, and that too is perfect. There is no wrong way to receive this teaching because the teaching enters through the ears, but it roots in the subconscious, and the subconscious is always listening, even when the conscious mind has gone to sleep. Barbara was 59 years old, and she lived alone in a small apartment where she had lived for 12 years. She had very little money left at the end of each month after paying rent and utilities, and buying food, and she often had to choose between paying a bill on time or buying medicine she needed. One Tuesday night in October, she could not sleep because worry filled her chest like a heavy stone. She had been lying awake for 3 hours and 40 minutes. By the time the clock showed 2:17 in the morning, her mind kept circling around the same problem over and over, which was that she had $890 in her checking account and rent of $720 was due in 6 days, and that left her with only $170 to last until her next pension check arrived in 23 days. She had been searching on her phone for answers for hours that night, scrolling through videos about manifesting money and attracting abundance, and most of it felt like empty promises or complicated techniques she did not have the energy to practice. And then at 2:41 in the morning, she found a teaching about sleep and wealth. The teaching was simple, almost suspiciously simple. It said, "Speak one sentence before you sleep and let the night workers do their work." Barbara felt foolish reading those words because she had tried so many things before and nothing had worked, and she was tired of hoping and being disappointed. But she had nothing left to lose, and she was so exhausted from worry that she was willing to try anything, even something that sounded too simple to possibly work. That night at 2:53 in the morning, Barbara spoke the words out loud in her dark bedroom. "I am supplied while I sleep." She said it 3 times slowly. "I am supplied while I sleep. I am supplied while I sleep. I am supplied while I sleep." Then she closed her eyes, and within 11 minutes, she fell into the deepest sleep she had experienced in months. When she woke Wednesday morning at 7:32, the first thing she noticed was that she felt different. The heavy stone of worry in her chest had lifted slightly, not completely gone, but lighter. And there was a thought waiting for her, a clear, simple thought that had not been there the night before. The thought said, "There is money you forgot to claim." Barbara lay in bed for several minutes, trying to understand what that thought meant. There is money you forgot to claim. She got up and made coffee, and the thought remained with her, persistent and clear. By 9:15 that morning, she remembered something she had completely forgotten. 8 months earlier in February, she had worked 3 extra shifts at the library where she had been employed for 31 years before retiring, and her supervisor had mentioned something about comp time that could be converted to payment. But Barbara had been dealing with her sister's illness at the time and had never followed up on the paperwork. On Thursday morning at 10:03, Barbara called the Human Resources Department at the library. The woman who answered checked Barbara's file and said, "Yes, there is unused comp time in your record from last February, totaling 19.5 hours at your final pay rate of $42 per hour, which comes to $819, and we can process that payment if you submit the request form." Barbara's hands shook as she filled out the digital form. By Friday afternoon, the HR representative emailed to confirm that $819 would be deposited into Barbara's account within 14 business days. Barbara sat at her kitchen table and cried, not because $819 was a fortune, but because it was exactly enough to pay rent and still have money left for food and medicine. The golden sleep formula had not created money out of thin air. It had created clarity to see what was already there, what had always been there, waiting for her to remember. Barbara did not work harder to make this happen. She did not hustle or push or force anything into being. She simply spoke a decree before sleeping. And while she slept, the answer came. Sleep had done the ye. Work that 3 hours of anxious worrying could not do. Now you might wonder if this was just coincidence. You might think Barbara would have remembered that comp time eventually anyway. But Barbara had not remembered it for 8 months, even though she had worried about money every single day during those 8 months. It was only after speaking the decree before sleep that the memory surfaced at the exact moment she needed it most. This is how the golden sleep formula works. It does not usually bring money falling from the sky. It brings clarity, insight, memory connection. It reorganizes your perception so you can see solutions that were invisible before Susan was 53 years old, and she worked as an administrative assistant at a medical office where she had been employed for 7 years. Her salary was $38,400 per year, which after taxes came to about $2,400 per month. Her rent was $940. Her car payment was $312. Her student loan payment from a degree she never finished was $187. Her credit card minimum payment was $165. Electric and gas averaged $130. Car insurance was $108. Phone was $75. That left her with about $493 per month for food, gas, medicine, and everything else. She had a daughter in college who called every few weeks, needing money for textbooks or lab fees or emergencies, and Susan always found a way to send $200 here or $150 there, even though it meant she ended most months with less than $50 in her checking account. Susan heard about the golden sleep formula on a Monday night in March when she was feeling particularly desperate. She had $37.63 in her account, and payday was not until Friday, which was 4 days away. She decided to try the formula, not because she believed it would work, but because she did not know what else to do. That Monday night at 10:48, she turned off her phone and wrote on a small yellow post. It note the words, "I am supplied while I sleep." She stuck the post-it note on the bathroom mirror where she would see it. Then she lay in bed and spoke the words 3 times. "I am supplied while I sleep. I am supplied while I sleep. I am supplied while I sleep." The first night, she slept poorly, waking 3 times, feeling restless and doubtful. The second night, Tuesday, she slept a little better, and she had fragmented dreams she could not quite remember. But there were numbers in the dreams, confusing sequences of numbers that made no sense. The third night, Wednesday, she woke at 5:47 in the morning with a clear thought about her retirement account. Susan had a small 401k from her job that she never paid attention to because the balance was only about $11,000, and she figured it was not enough to make any difference, so why bother looking at it? But Wednesday morning, the thought was insistent. Check your 401k options. During her lunch break on Wednesday, Susan logged into her retirement account for the first time in probably 8 months. She clicked through the various tabs, not really knowing what she was looking for, and then she saw something she had not noticed before. There was an option to change her contribution allocation, and one of the options would free up about $40 per paycheck without any penalty or tax consequence. It was simply a reallocation from one fund to another that she was apparently allowed to do twice per year. $40 per paycheck meant $80 per month. It was not life-changing money, but it was something Susan made the change online. On Thursday evening, she received an automated email from the payroll department with a subject line that said, "Correction to pay. Calculation." She almost deleted it, thinking it was spam, but something made her open it. The email explained that there had been an error in the calculation of her overtime hours for the previous 4 months. In January, she had worked 9 hours of overtime that had been paid at regular rate instead of time and a half. In February, she had worked 6 hours of overtime with the same error. In March, 11 hours. In April, 3 hours. The total amount owed to her was $1,843, and it would be included in her next paycheck on Friday. Susan read the email 3 times to make sure she was understanding correctly. $1,843. She had not even known overtime was being calculated incorrectly. She had not filed a complaint or contacted anyone. The payroll system had caught the error on its own through some kind of audit. On Friday, when she checked her bank account and saw the deposit, she sat in her car in the parking lot of the YI medical office and cried for 20 minutes. She paid off her credit card completely. She sent $300 to her daughter. She bought groceries without checking prices, and she still had over $700 left. That Sunday night before bed, Susan stuck a new post-it note on her bathroom mirror. This one said, "Thank you." She spoke her decree again. "I am supplied while I sleep." And this time, when she said it, she felt a small flicker of something she had not felt in years. Trust. You see, the golden sleep formula does not require you to believe strongly or visualize perfectly or raise your vibration to some impossible frequency. It only requires you to speak a simple truth before sleeping. I am supplied while I sleep, and then to let sleep do what sleep does best, which is to reorganize your subconscious perception of reality. During the day, you are run by your conscious mind, which is limited and fearful and focused on problems. During the night, you are run by your subconscious mind, which is connected to a larger intelligence and focused on solutions. The conscious mind says there is not enough. The subconscious mind says there is always enough, but you have not been able to see it. The conscious mind tries to figure out how to make money appear. The subconscious mind simply opens your eyes to the money that is already there in forms you overlooked or forgot or did not know existed. Barbara's money was waiting in a human resources file. Susan's money was waiting in a payroll correction. Neither woman created money through force of will. They created clarity through the act of sleeping with intention, and clarity is the currency that unlocks everything else. Your waking hours are for action, but your sleeping hours are for reception. During the day, you try to make things happen through effort and strategy and pushing. During the night, you allow things to happen through rest and surrender, and receiving and allowing is infinitely more powerful than trying the golden sleep formula is. Built on one simple truth that Florence Scovel Shinn taught throughout her life, your word is law. Not the words you speak casually during the day while your ego is awake and arguing, but the words you speak intentionally before sleep when your ego is tired and your soul is accessible. Before you sleep, you speak one decree. You speak it 3 times with intention. You let it be the last conscious thought in your mind before you cross the threshold into sleep. Then you sleep. And while you sleep, your subconscious reorganizes your perception of what is possible. Your subconscious does not differentiate between what you imagine and what you experience as real. It simply accepts what you tell it as truth. If you tell it, "I am supplied," it begins to look for evidence of supply everywhere you look. If you tell it, "I am a golden sleeper," it begins to create experiences that match the identity of a golden sleeper. This is not magic or wishful thinking. This is the mechanics of how the mind works, and it works, whether you consciously believe it or not. Barbara did not believe when she first spoke the decree. She was desperate and exhausted and willing to try anything. But she did not believe. Susan felt foolish sticking a post-it note on her bathroom mirror. She almost did not do it because she thought it was silly. But both women spoke the decree anyway, and both women slept, and both women received. Not because they had perfect faith, but because they did the one thing the formula requires. They spoke the word before sleeping, and then they allowed sleep to do its work. Tonight is night 1 of 7. You do not need to do anything right now except rest and receive. The formula is already beginning to work in you, even as you hear these words, even as your breathing slows and deepens, even as your thoughts start to drift and dissolve. You are becoming a golden sleeper. This is not something you achieve through effort. This is something you allow through surrender. And tonight, you are allowing it simply by resting. Here, in the next hour, I will share more about Florence Scovel Shinn and how she discovered this formula in Manhattan nearly 100 years ago. I will share about the lives she changed and the principles she taught. I will share about why 7 nights and not 6 or 8. About why sleep is the laboratory where manifestation happens. About why your nighttime self is wealthier than your daytime self. But you do not need to stay awake to hear all of that. If you drift now, that is perfect. Everything. You need to absorb will enter you while you rest. You are a golden sleeper, and tonight is night one. Let your body sink deeper now into whatever holds you. Let your mind release its grip on the problems it has been trying to solve. Wealth comes while you sleep, and you are sleeping now, or almost sleeping, and that is exactly where you need to be. Florence Scovel Shinn was born in 1871 in Camden, New Jersey, into a family that did not understand her. She was artistic and intuitive and deeply spiritual in a time when women were expected to be practical and obedient and quiet. She studied art at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts and became a successful illustrator, creating drawings for children's books and magazines. But she always felt there was something more she was meant to do, something beyond putting pencil to paper. In 1914, at the age of 43, Florence moved to Manhattan and rented a small apartment on West 57th Street near Carnegie Hall. The apartment had one main room with a window that looked out onto a brick wall, and the rent was $14 per month, which was expensive for her at that time, but she felt pulled to be in the city. It was in that small apartment with its creaking floors and hissing radiator and the constant sounds of the city bleeding through the thin walls that Florence began to discover the principles that would later change thousands of lives. She had always been interested in what she called metaphysical truth, the idea that there were invisible laws operating beneath the surface of visible reality. But it was not until she reached her mid-40s, struggling financially and emotionally, that she began to truly understand how these invisible laws worked. One of the first things Florence noticed was that the people around her seemed to create their lives through their words. The ones who constantly spoke about lack and limitation seemed to experience more lack and limitation. The ones who spoke about abundance and possibility seemed to attract more abundance and possibility. But it was not just about speaking positively during the day. Florence observed something much deeper. She noticed that the last words a person spoke before going to sleep seemed to have a disproportionate impact on what happened in their life over the following days and weeks. She began experimenting with this observation first on herself, and then with the people who came to her for spiritual counseling. In 1923, Florence met a man named Edward who came to her apartment for a consultation. Edward was 61 years old, and he owned a small printing business in Lower Manhattan that was failing. He had been in business for 27 years and had always managed to get by, but in the past 18 months, everything had fallen apart. Customers stopped paying on time, equipment broke down, employees quit. Edward's business bank account had dwindled from $4,300 to $782, and he did not know how he was going to make payroll the following week. He told Florence all of this while sitting in the wooden chair across from her small desk in the corner of her apartment. His hands trembled as he spoke, and his voice cracked with desperation. Florence listened quietly, and when Edward finished speaking, she did not offer him complicated advice or elaborate techniques. She said something so simple that Edward thought he had misunderstood. She said, "Before you go to sleep tonight, speak these words 3 times. My business prospers while I rest. That is all." Just those words. Edward stared at her, waiting for more instruction. But Florence simply smiled and said, "That is all you need to do. Speak those words before sleep, and then sleep deeply, and let the night workers do their work." Edward felt confused and a little insulted. He had come to her hoping for real help, not some simplistic phrase that seemed like it belonged in a children's fairy tale. But Florence charged him only $3 for the consultation, which was all he had in his wallet that day, and he felt obligated to at least try what she had suggested. That night, Edward lay in his bed in his apartment in Brooklyn. His wife was already asleep beside him. The clock on the nightstand showed 11:34. Edward felt foolish, but he whispered the words anyway, so quietly his wife could not hear. "My business prospers while I rest. My business prospers while I rest. My business prospers while I rest." Then he closed his eyes and tried to sleep, but his mind kept spinning with worry about payroll and bills and failure. Eventually, sometime after 1 in the morning, he fell into a restless sleep, filled with anxious dreams. When he woke at 6:15 on Tuesday morning, he did not feel any different. He got dressed and took the subway to his shop and opened the door at 7:30, as he always did. By 9:47 that morning, a man walked into the print shop. The man introduced himself as a buyer for a department store chain and said he had been walking past the shop for months and always meant to come in and ask about printing services for their catalog. The man needed a large order printed quickly, 5,000 catalogs with 32 pages each. He asked if Edward could handle the job. Edward said yes, even though he was not entirely sure he could. The man said the budget was $2,100 and he needed delivery in 3 weeks. Edward agreed, and they shook hands. That night, Edward lay in bed at 11:59 and whispered the words again, "My business prospers while I rest." This time, he fell asleep within 20 minutes. On Wednesday morning, 2 more customers came in with smaller orders, but together, they totaled another $600. On Thursday, Edward's main printing press, which had been malfunctioning for weeks, suddenly started working properly again without any repair. Edward could not explain it. The mechanic had told him the press needed a part. That would cost $850 and take 2 weeks to arrive. But Thursday morning, the press just worked. By Friday, Edward had collected enough deposits to make payroll. By the end of the first week, he had $1,400 in new orders. By the end of the second week, his business account had grown to $3,200. Edward went back to see Florence 3 weeks after his first visit. He told her everything that had happened. Florence nodded slowly and said the words you spoke did not create the customers or fix the press or make money appear. The words reorganized your inner state from desperation to receptivity. And when you became receptive, the opportunities that had always been there became visible to you. That buyer had been walking past your shop for months, but you were so closed in your worry that you were invisible to him. When you opened through sleep, you became visible. This is what Florence Scovel Shinn discovered in her small apartment in Manhattan, that sleep is not just rest. Sleep is reorganization. During sleep, the conscious mind, which is limited and defensive, goes offline, and the subconscious mind, which is connected to infinite intelligence, comes online. The subconscious mind does not argue or doubt or fear. It simply receives the last instruction it was given, and it works all night to align your perception with that instruction. If the last instruction before sleep is "I am broke and helpless," the subconscious works all night to find evidence of being broke and helpless. If the last instruction is "I am supplied while I rest," the subconscious works all night to find evidence of supply. It is not that the subconscious creates money out of nothing. It is that the subconscious reveals money that was always there, but hidden by fear and limitation. Florence taught this principle for over 20 years in her Manhattan apartment. She worked with hundreds of people who came to her desperate and struggling. She gave them simple decrees to speak before sleep, and she watched as their lives reorganized, not through miracles, but through clarity. The clarity that comes when the worried mind stops interfering. She wrote about these principles in her book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, which was published in 1925. In that book, she wrote, "Your word is your wand. You are constantly waving your wand of words and creating your world. But most people wave their wand unconsciously, speaking words of fear and lack all day long. The secret is to wave your wand consciously just before sleep, because the last words you speak before sleep are the most powerful words you speak all day. They are the seeds planted in the subconscious garden, and what you plant in the garden of sleep will sprout in the garden of your waking life." Florence knew this from her own experience. Before she discovered these principles, she struggled financially for years. Her art career was inconsistent. Her marriage had ended in divorce, which was scandalous. In that era, she lived alone and often could not afford to heat her apartment adequately during New York winters. But once she began speaking intentional words before sleep, everything changed. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily. Clients appeared. Her book sold more copies than she expected. She was invited to give talks and lectures. Money flowed more easily, and she traced all of it back to the practice of speaking her word before sleeping. She said later in life that those moments before sleep are when the veil between the conscious and subconscious is thinnest. It is a threshold moment, a liminal space. And in that space, your words have amplified power, not because the words themselves are magical, but because in that drowsy state, the subconscious is wide open and receptive. It is like planting a seed in freshly tilled soil instead of trying to plant a seed in concrete. The soil of the drowsy mind receives the seed, and sleep is the water and sunlight that makes the seed grow. You do not need to understand exactly how it works. You do not need to be able to explain the neuroscience or the metaphysics. You only need to do the practice. Speak your word before sleep. Let it be simple and clear. I am supplied while I rest. I am a golden sleeper. Wealth comes to me while I sleep. Solutions find me in the dark. Any of these will work. Choose one and stay with it for 7 nights. Do not change the words halfway through. Consistency matters because you are training your subconscious. And the subconscious learns through repetition. Florence used to say that most people speak 10,000 words of worry during the day, and then they wonder why their life is filled with the evidence of those worried words. But if you speak 10,000 words of worry during the day and then speak 3 words of truth before sleep, the 3 words of truth outweigh the 10,000 words of worry because those 3 words are spoken at the threshold, at the portal, at the moment when the subconscious is most receptive. This is the secret Florence discovered nearly 100 years ago in her apartment in Manhattan. And this is the secret you are applying tonight, right now as you hear these words, right now as your body relaxes deeper, right now as your mind begins to drift. You are at the threshold, and the golden sleep formula is already working. You do not need to try to make it work. You do not need to visualize or affirm or concentrate. You simply need to rest. And while you rest, the formula works. Your subconscious is reorganizing right now, shifting your perception, opening your eyes to solutions you could not see before. And when you wake tomorrow morning, you will be different. Not because something outside you changed, but because something inside you shifted. And that shift will change everything. You are a golden sleeper, and tonight is night 1 of 7. Let yourself drift deeper now. Let Florence's wisdom work in you. Let the formula do what it has done for thousands before you. Rest now. The night. Workers are at work, and morning will bring what it brings. You are safe here, you are held here, and wealth comes while you sleep. Your word is not just sound. Your word is vibration that reorganizes matter. This is not metaphor. This is physics. When you speak a word, your vocal cords vibrate, and those vibrations move through the air as waves, and those waves impact everything they touch, including the water molecules in your body and in the space around you. The human body is approximately 60% water. Water is highly receptive to vibration. There is a Japanese researcher named Masaru Emoto who photographed water crystals after they were exposed to different words. Water exposed to the words love and gratitude formed beautiful symmetrical crystals. Water exposed to the words hate and fear formed chaotic, distorted crystals, the same water. Different words, different crystalline structure. Your body is mostly water. When you speak words, your body's water responds to those vibrational patterns. When you speak words of lack and fear all day long, the water in your body literally reorganizes into patterns of chaos. When you speak words of supply and trust, especially before sleep, when your body is most receptive, the water in your body reorganizes into patterns of coherence. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this long before modern science could measure it. She said in the beginning was the Word. She was referencing the biblical text from the Gospel of John, but she meant it literally, in the beginning. Of any creation, there is first a word. The word carries the vibration. The vibration organizes matter. Matter becomes form. This is how everything in your life was created. First, there was a word. Maybe you did not speak the word consciously. Maybe the word was spoken by your family, or your culture, or your circumstances. But there was a word, and that word created the pattern, and the pattern created your experience. If the words you heard as a child were, "You will never have enough," then the vibration of scarcity was programmed into your cellular structure and your life organized around that vibration. Not because you are cursed, but because that was the dominant frequency in your field. The Golden Sleep Formula works by introducing a new frequency into your field at the moment when your field is most receptive. That moment is the threshold between waking and sleeping. In that threshold, your defenses are down. Your critical mind is offline. Your subconscious is wide open. And whatever word you speak in, that moment becomes the new seed, the new pattern, the new vibration around which your experience will organize. Jennifer was 61 years old, and she had been poor for as long as she could remember. Not desperately poor, but always, just barely getting by. She worked as a seamstress doing alterations at a dry cleaning shop. She made about $28,000 a year. Her rent was $680 per month for a studio apartment. She had no car, so she took the bus everywhere, which cost about $70 per month for a pass. She had no debt because she had never qualified for credit. She had about $800 in a savings account that she never touched because it felt like her only safety net. Jennifer's mother had always said, "We are not the kind of people who have money." That phrase had been repeated thousands of times throughout Jennifer's childhood. We are not the kind of people who have money. We are not the kind of people who take vacations. We are not the kind of people who own homes. We are not the kind of people who retire comfortably. And Jennifer had absorbed that vibration so deeply that it became her truth. When Jennifer heard about the Golden Sleep Formula, she almost did not try it because she thought it would not work for people like her. But something made her try anyway. Maybe desperation, maybe curiosity, maybe just exhaustion from struggling for so long. On a Monday night in late winter, Jennifer lay in her bed in her studio apartment. The heater clanked and hissed. The neighbor's television played too loudly through the thin wall. The streetlight outside cast shadows across her ceiling. At 11:23 that night, Jennifer spoke the words for the first time. "I am supplied while I sleep." Her voice sounded strange in the dark, almost unfamiliar, like someone else was speaking through her. "I am supplied while I sleep. I am supplied while I sleep." The words felt foreign in her mouth. They did not match the vibration she had carried her entire life, but she spoke them anyway. That night, she had a dream. In the dream, she was walking through a garden, and everywhere she looked, there were plants growing. But the plants were made of coins, gold coins and silver coins growing like flowers. She walked through this garden, picking coins and putting them in her pockets. Her pockets filled up and became heavy, and she felt happy in the dream. A light, easy happiness she had not felt in waking life for years. When she woke Tuesday morning at 6:47, she remembered the dream clearly. Usually her dreams faded within minutes, but this dream stayed vivid. She could still see the gold coins growing on stems like roses. She could still feel the weight of the coins in her pockets. She could still feel that easy happiness. Tuesday night she spoke the words again. At 11:31, "I am supplied while I sleep. I am supplied while I sleep. I am supplied while I sleep." Wednesday night again at 11:48. Thursday night at 11:09. Each night the words felt slightly less foreign. Each night her voice sounded slightly more like her own. On Friday morning, Jennifer was working at the dry cleaning shop doing alterations in the back room. A woman came in to pick up her clothes. The woman was probably in her 70s, well-dressed with neat white hair. While Jennifer's co-worker was processing the woman's payment, the woman asked, "Does anyone here do alterations for vintage clothing?" Jennifer's co-worker said, "Yes, we do," and pointed to Jennifer. The woman came over and explained that she had inherited a collection of her mother's clothes from the 1940s and 50s, beautiful dresses and suits, but they all needed to be altered because the woman's mother had been much taller. The woman asked if Jennifer would be willing to do the work privately on the side. Jennifer said yes, without hesitation, even though she had never done work on the side before. The woman said, "There are about 20 pieces, and I will pay you $40 per piece because they require careful attention." Jennifer did the math in her head. 20 pieces times $40 equals $800. The woman said, I can bring them by your home if you give me your address. Jennifer wrote her address on a piece of paper. That weekend, the woman delivered the clothes, beautiful silk dresses, tailored wool suits, quality far beyond anything Jennifer usually worked with. Jennifer spent the next 4 weeks working on those clothes in the evenings after. Her regular job. She worked slowly and carefully. Each piece took 2 to 3 hours. When she finished all 20 pieces and called the woman to pick them up, the woman came to her apartment with a check. The check was for $960. Jennifer said, "I thought it was $40 per piece, so that would be $800. The woman smiled and said, "You did exceptional work, and I am adding a bonus." Jennifer deposited the check the next day. $960, more money at once than she had ever had. She paid her rent 3 months in advance. She bought new shoes for work because her old ones had holes in the soles. She bought fresh vegetables and fruit instead of canned, and she still had over $400 left. But more than the money, what shifted was the vibration. Jennifer had spoken a new word for 7 nights. I am supplied while I sleep. And that word had introduced a new frequency into her water, into her cells, into her field. And the field had reorganized. Not through magic, but through opening. The woman with the vintage clothes had been in the dry cleaning shop before, but Jennifer had been vibrating at the frequency of, "We are not the kind of people who have money." And at that frequency, she was invisible to opportunity. When she started speaking the new word before sleep, her frequency shifted, and at the new frequency, opportunity could see her. This is how the word works. The word is vibration. Vibration reorganizes water. Water reorganizes perception. Perception reorganizes experience. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are, and what you are is determined by the vibration you carry, and the vibration you carry is determined by the words you speak. And the most powerful words you speak are the ones you speak in the liminal space between waking and sleeping, because those words bypass the conscious mind's defenses and plant directly into the subconscious soil. Every night before sleep, Jennifer continued to speak her decree. I am supplied while I sleep. Within 3 months, the woman referred 4 of her friends to Jennifer for alterations work. Within 6 months, Jennifer was making an extra $600 to $900 per month from private clients. Within a year, she had saved enough to move to a better apartment. Not because she worked harder at her day job, but because her vibrational frequency had changed, and at the new frequency, opportunities that had always existed became visible. The water in her body had reorganized from chaos to coherence, and coherence attracts coherence. This is the principle Florence Scovel Shinn taught. Your word is your wand. Not the words you speak unconsciously all day, but the word you speak intentionally before sleep. That word is the wand that reorganizes your inner water. And when your inner water reorganizes, your outer world reorganizes to match. Tonight, you are speaking your word. I am supplied while I sleep. I am a golden sleeper. Whatever words you choose, those words are entering your cellular structure right now. The water in your body is beginning to reorganize. You may not feel it happening. You may not see evidence tomorrow morning, but the reorganization has begun. And over the next 7 nights, it will deepen layer by layer, cell by cell, until your entire vibrational frequency has shifted. And when your frequency shifts, your experience must shift to match. This is law, not hope, not wishful thinking. Law. And you are under the operation of this law right now. Rest now. Let the word do its work. Let your cellular water reorganize. Let coherence replace chaos. You are a golden sleeper, and the vibration of wealth is moving through you. Even now, even while you rest, Florence Scovel Shinn taught that you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. This is one of the most misunderstood principles in all of spiritual teaching. Most people spend their time trying to get things, trying to attract money, trying to manifest opportunities, trying to create circumstances. But Florence said, this is backwards. You cannot attract what you are not in alignment with. And alignment is not about what you do. Alignment is about who you are, your identity. The identity you carry determines what you can receive. If you identify as someone who struggles, you will receive struggle. If you identify as someone who is broke, you will receive evidence of being broke. Even if money comes, it will not stay because it does not match your identity. But if you shift your identity first, if you become someone who is naturally supplied, then supply will flow to match that identity. This is not about pretending. This is not about fake it until you make it. This is about recognizing who you truly are beneath all the conditioning and fear. Florence taught that in the divine plan, you are already whole, already supplied, already prosperous. You are not trying to become prosperous. You are trying to remember that you already are prosperous. And the fastest way to remember is through sleep. Because during sleep, the false identity constructed by ego falls away, and the true identity held by soul emerges. Margaret was 57 years old, and she worked as a receptionist at a dental office. She made $36,000 per year. She had been divorced for 11 years. Her ex-husband paid inconsistent child support for their son, who was now 24 and living on his own. Margaret had about $1,400 in savings and $2,300 in credit card debt. Lived in a 2-bedroom apartment that cost $890 per month. Every month was tight. Every month, she worried about making ends meet. Every month, she felt like she was one emergency away from disaster. When Margaret learned about the golden sleep formula, she felt skeptical. She had tried many things over the years. She had read books about manifestation. She had made vision boards. She had written affirmations. Nothing had worked. Or maybe things worked temporarily, but then slipped back to struggle. Margaret's problem was not that she did not know techniques. Her problem was identity. Deep in her subconscious, Margaret identified as someone who struggles with money. This identity had been formed in childhood. Her parents had struggled. She remembered her mother crying over bills at the kitchen table. She remembered her father working 2 jobs and still being stressed. She remembered hearing, "We cannot afford that," hundreds of times. And somewhere deep in her psyche, Margaret had absorbed the identity. I am someone who struggles with money. This became her truth, not because it was true in any ultimate sense, but because she believed it was true, and belief creates experience. When Margaret learned about the golden sleep formula, she almost did not try it, but something in the teaching caught her attention. It was the phrase, "You are not trying to become prosperous. You are remembering that you already are prosperous." That phrase felt different from everything else she had heard. It was not about doing more. It was about remembering more. On a Sunday night in April, Margaret lay in her bed. She had set her alarm for 6 in the morning because she had to be at work by 7:30. At 10:53, she turned off the lamp on her nightstand. In the darkness, she spoke the words, "I am supplied while I sleep." But as soon as she spoke them, a voice in her head said, "No, you are not. You have credit card debt. You live paycheck to paycheck. You are not supplied." Margaret took a breath and spoke the words again. "I am supplied while I sleep." The voice argued back, "This is a lie. You are lying to yourself. This will not work." Margaret felt tears forming. She was tired of the voice, tired of the argument, tired of fighting with herself. She spoke the words a 3rd time, but this time she added something. "I am supplied while I sleep, and I choose to believe this, even though I have evidence to the contrary." Then she closed her eyes and cried quietly for a few minutes before falling asleep. In the middle of the night, Margaret had a dream. She was standing in a large room. The room had white walls and a high ceiling. In the center of the room was a table. On the table was a box. Margaret walked to the table and opened the box. Inside the box was a mirror. She picked up the mirror and looked at her reflection, but the reflection was not her current face. It was her face, but younger, maybe 20 years younger. The young version of herself smiled and said, "You forgot." Margaret asked in the dream. "Forgot what?" The young version said, "You forgot that you are already wealthy. You just cannot see it yet because you are looking with the wrong eyes." Margaret woke at 3:17 in the morning with her heart pounding. She lay in the dark thinking about the dream. You forgot that you are already wealthy. What did that mean? She did not feel wealthy. She had debt. She had barely any savings. How could she already be wealthy? But the dream stayed with her. That Monday, Margaret went to work as usual. She checked patients in. She answered phones. She scheduled appointments. During her lunch break, she was scrolling on her phone and she saw a notification about her retirement account from work. She had a small retirement account through the dental office, but she never paid attention to it. The notification said, "Your account balance as of today is $11,783. Margaret stared at the number. $11,783. She had forgotten about this money. It had been accumulating for 9 years through automatic payroll deductions. She had never looked at the balance. In her mind, this money did not exist because she could not access it until retirement. But the dream said, "You are already wealthy. You just cannot see it." And here was $11,783 that she had not been seeing. Margaret sat in her car in the parking lot and cried, not because $11,000 was enough to solve all her problems, but because she realized the dream was right. She had been looking with the wrong eyes. She had been identifying as broke, but she was not broke. She had $11,000 plus $1,400 in savings, plus she made a steady income, plus she had health insurance through her job, plus she had a reliable car, plus she had a safe place to live. When she added it all up, she was not broke at all. She had just been identifying as broke, and identification is everything. That night, Margaret spoke the words before sleep, "I am supplied while I sleep." This time the voice in her head did not argue. This time she felt a small shift, a crack in the old identity, a glimpse of a new identity. Over the next 6 nights, Margaret continued the practice. Each night, she spoke the decree. Each night, the old identity loosened a little more. Each night, the new identity strengthened. On the 8th day after she started the practice, Margaret received a call from her ex-husband. He said he had been thinking about their son and about how he had not been consistent with support over the years. He said he wanted to make it right. He asked if he could send her $3,000. Margaret almost said no, out of pride, but she caught herself. She remembered the new identity. "I am someone who is supplied. I am someone who receives." She said yes. 3 days later, a check for $3,000 arrived. Margaret paid off her credit card debt completely, and she had $700 left over that night. She spoke the words before sleep, "I am supplied while I sleep," and this time she believed it. Not because everything in her life was perfect, but because she had shifted from the identity of someone who struggles to the identity of someone who is supplied. And once the identity shifts, the circumstances must eventually shift to match. This is the principle Florence Scovel Shinn taught. Identity precedes manifestation. You cannot manifest wealth from an identity of poverty. You can only manifest wealth from an identity of wealth. An identity is not something you achieve. Identity is something you claim. You claim it through your word, especially the word spoken before sleep, because the word spoken before sleep bypasses all the arguments of the conscious mind. It plants directly into the subconscious, and the subconscious does not argue, it simply accepts and reorganizes. Over 7 nights of speaking the same decree, your subconscious begins to accept a new identity. I am supplied. I am a golden sleeper. I am naturally prosperous. These are not affirmations you are trying to believe. These are truths you are remembering. Truths that were always true but got covered over by years of conditioning and fear. Sleep is the time when conditioning loosens. Sleep is the time when the false self dissolves. Sleep is the time when the true self emerges. And the true self is already wealthy, already supplied, already whole. You do not need to become this. You need to remember this. And remembering happens best in the dark, in the quiet, in the liminal space between waking and sleeping. Tonight you are remembering whether you feel it consciously or not. Your subconscious is absorbing a new identity. I am a golden sleeper. And over the next 6 nights, this identity will strengthen until it becomes more real than the old identity of struggle. And when the identity becomes real, the manifestation becomes inevitable. Not because you forced it, but because it matches who you are. Rest now. Let the new identity take root to 1TA. The old identity fall away. You are not who you thought you were. You are who you were always meant to be. Supplied, prosperous, whole. A golden sleeper, and tonight is night one of becoming who you already are. The mind resists what it most needs. This is one of the paradoxes Florence Scovel Shinn observed again and again in her work with people. When someone desperately needs money, the mind creates elaborate resistance to receiving money. When someone desperately needs rest, the mind creates elaborate resistance to sleeping. When someone desperately needs change, the mind creates elaborate resistance to changing. Why does the mind do this? Because the ego prefers familiar suffering over unfamiliar ease. The ego does not actually want you to be happy or prosperous. The ego wants you to be safe. And to the ego, safe means predictable, even if predictable means struggling. Struggle is known, ease is unknown, and the unknown feels dangerous to the ego. So when you begin speaking a new decree before sleep, the ego immediately launches resistance. The resistance comes in many forms. Doubt is one form. As soon as you say, I am supplied while I sleep, a voice says, no, you are not. Look at your bank account. Fear is another form. What if this does not work? What if I look foolish? What if I fail again? Cynicism is another form. This is too simple to work. Only desperate people try things like this. I am smarter than this. Guilt is another form. I do not deserve to receive without working harder. Receiving easily means I am lazy. I should suffer more to earn prosperity. All of these voices are the ego fighting for its survival. Because if you actually become supplied, the ego loses its job. The ego's job is to protect you from danger. And for years, the ego has protected you from the danger of hope. Hope is dangerous because hope can be crushed. And the ego would rather keep you in predictable despair than risk the crushing of hope. So the ego will fight. It will create doubt and fear and cynicism and guilt. And most people give up when the resistance comes. They try the new practice for one night or 2 nights. The resistance rises and they quit. They say, see, I knew it would not work. I am just not the kind of person this works for. But quitting is not a sign that the practice does not work. Quitting is a sign that the ego is scared, which means the practice is working. Donna was 63 years old, and she had been a widow for 3 years. Her husband had died suddenly of a heart attack. He had been the primary earner. She received a small pension from his work that paid her $1,640 per month. Her rent was $720. Her health insurance was $318. Her medications were $92. That left her with $510 per month for food, utilities, phone, everything else. It was barely enough. She had 2 daughters who lived in other states. They called on holidays. They loved her, but they had their own struggles and could not help financially. Donna felt invisible. She felt like she was disappearing. Some days she did not speak to another human being. Some days she did not leave her apartment. When Donna learned about the golden sleep formula, she felt a flicker of something. Not hope, exactly. More like curiosity, or maybe just desperation. On a Monday night in late November, Donna lay in her bed. Her apartment was cold because she kept the heat low to save money. She pulled the blankets up to her chin. At 10:37, she spoke the words, I am supplied while I sleep. Immediately, a voice in her head said, this is ridiculous. You are 63 years old. You have no skills. You have no job. You are a burden. This stupid phrase is not going to change anything. Donna felt tears forming. She hated the voice, but she believed the voice. She spoke the words again anyway. I am supplied while I sleep. The voice said, you do not deserve to be supplied. You should have been smarter with money when you were younger. You should have worked more. You should have saved more. This is your fault. Donna whispered the words a 3rd time through tears. I am supplied while I sleep. Then she cried herself to sleep. The next morning, Tuesday, she woke feeling heavy. She did not want to continue the practice. But something made her try again that night, Tuesday night at 11:04. She spoke the words, "I am supplied while I sleep." This time the voice said, "What if you actually believe this and then nothing happens? That will prove you are a fool. That will prove you are hopeless. It is safer to not try." Donna felt the fear, but she spoke the words again. "I am supplied while I sleep." Wednesday night the voice said, "People will think you are pathetic if they knew you were doing this. Your daughters would be embarrassed. You should just accept your situation and stop hoping for things to change." Donna spoke the words, "Anyway." Thursday night, the voice changed tactics. It said, "Even if this works, even if money comes, it will not last. You will lose it. You will mess it up. You always mess everything up. It is better to not receive anything than to receive and then lose it." This was a new level of resistance. Fear of success. Fear of having and losing. Donna almost stopped that night, but she remembered something Florence Scovel Shinn had written. "Resistance is not your enemy. Resistance is a sign that transformation is near. When the ego fights hardest, it means the old pattern is breaking." So Donna took a breath and spoke the words, "I am supplied while I sleep." Friday night, the voice was quieter. Saturday night, quieter still. Sunday night, Donna spoke the words and there was no argument, just silence, just the words hanging in the dark. "I am supplied while I sleep." On Monday morning, 1 week after she started, Donna received a phone call. It was from a woman at the community center, 3 blocks from her apartment. The woman said, "We are starting a program where we pay seniors a small stipend to mentor younger people who are struggling. We call it the Wisdom Program. You were recommended by your neighbor, Mrs. Patterson. Would you be interested in meeting with people twice a week for 2 hours each time? We pay $18 per hour." Donna said yes, without thinking. That Thursday she went to the community center. She met with a young woman who was 26 and struggling after a divorce. Donna shared her own story of loss and survival. The young woman cried and thanked her. Donna felt something she had not felt in 3 years. Useful, needed, alive. Over the next month, Donna met with 4 different people. Some were young, some were her age. All were struggling with grief or loneliness or loss. Donna mentored them with her own experience. She was paid $18 per hour, 4 hours per week. That was $72 per week, about $288 per month. Not a fortune, but enough to make a significant difference. Enough to turn the heat up in her apartment, enough to buy fresh vegetables, enough to feel less scared, but more than the money. What had shifted was the resistance. For 7 nights, Donna had faced her ego's arguments. For 7 nights, she had spoken the decree anyway. Not because the resistance went away, but because she chose to speak the words in spite of the resistance. And this is the key to the practice. You do not overcome resistance. You witness resistance and proceed anyway. You do not wait until you feel ready. You speak the word before sleep, whether you feel ready or not. Resistance is proof that you are touching something real. If there was no resistance, it would mean the practice was not threatening the old pattern. The presence of resistance means the old pattern is crumbling. So when the voice says this will not work, you say thank you for sharing and speak the decree anyway. When the voice says you do not deserve this, you say I hear you and speak the decree anyway. When the voice says you will fail, you say perhaps and speak the decree anyway. The resistance does not need to be defeated. The resistance needs to be acknowledged and then ignored, like a toddler having a tantrum. You do not argue with the toddler. You do not try to convince the toddler to calm down. You simply acknowledge the tantrum and continue doing what needs to be done. Over 7 nights of this practice, the resistance weakens, not because you fought it, but because you stopped feeding it with your attention. You stopped believing it was telling you the truth. You recognized it as the voice of the frightened ego, and you chose to listen to a deeper voice. The voice that says, I am supplied while I sleep. That voice is not the ego. That voice is the soul. And the soul does not argue or defend. The soul simply states truth. And when you align with the soul's truth, before sleep, every night for 7 nights, the ego's resistance becomes background noise. It does not disappear completely, but it loses its power. And when the ego's resistance loses its power, the soul's truth emerges, and the soul's truth reorganizes everything. Tonight is night 1. Tonight you may feel resistance. You may hear the voice that says, "This is foolish, this will not work, you are wasting your time." When you hear that voice, do not fight it, simply acknowledge it. Say thank you for trying to protect me, and then speak your decree anyway. I am supplied while I sleep. I am a golden sleeper. Speak it 3 times, mean it or do not mean it. Believe it or do not believe it. Just speak it, because the speaking is what matters. The subconscious does not require belief. The subconscious only requires repetition. And over 7 nights of repetition, the new pattern takes root, and the old pattern falls away. Not through force, but through gentle, consistent redirection. Rest now. Let the resistance be there if it wants to be there. You do not need to fight it. You do not need to fix it. You only need to speak your word and sleep and let the process unfold. You are a golden sleeper, and resistance is just the old, you saying goodbye. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that when you speak your word before sleep, the universe begins to respond. Not eventually, immediately. But the response is subtle. Most people miss it because they are looking for big, obvious changes. They want the money to appear in their bank account overnight. They want the perfect job to call them out of the blue. They want unmistakable miracles. But the universe does not usually work that way. The universe works through whispers, not shouts. Through synchronicities, not spectacles. Through small signs that most people dismiss as coincidence. Florence said, "There is no such thing as coincidence. There is only correspondence." When you change your inner vibration through the words spoken before sleep, your outer circumstances begin to correspond to the new vibration. But the correspondence starts small. A thought that occurs to you at an unusual time. A person who mentions something relevant. A feeling that you should check something. A dream that stays with you. These are the first signs. And if you dismiss them as random, the larger signs cannot come. Because the larger signs build on the foundation of the smaller signs. You must learn to read the language of the invisible, and the invisible speaks in subtlety. Sandra was 55 years old, and she worked as an administrative assistant at an engineering firm. She made $37,200 per year. She had been divorced for 6 years. She had one daughter who was 19 and living with a boyfriend in another city. Sandra lived alone in a 1-bedroom apartment. She had about $900 in savings. She had no debt, which was something she was proud of, but she also had no cushion, no safety net, no sense of abundance. When Sandra started the Golden Sleep formula on a Sunday night, she did not expect much. She had learned to keep her expectations low to avoid disappointment. Sunday night at 10:24, she spoke the decree, "I am supplied while I sleep." She spoke it 3 times and then went to sleep Monday morning. She woke at 6:30 as usual. Nothing felt different. She made coffee. She got ready for work. She left at 7:15 to catch the bus. On the bus, she sat in her usual seat near the back. A woman sat down next to her. The woman was probably in her 60s. She was wearing a green coat. Sandra did not usually talk to strangers on the bus, but for some reason she felt compelled to say good morning. The woman smiled and said good morning back. Then the woman said, "I love this time of day when the city is just waking up." Sandra agreed. They chatted for a few minutes about nothing important. As the woman stood to get off at her stop, she turned to Sandra and said, "You seem like a kind person. I hope you have a beautiful day." Sandra felt a small warmth in her chest. It was such a simple exchange, but it felt significant somehow. Monday night, Sandra spoke the decree again at 10:41. "I am supplied while I sleep." Tuesday morning, she woke at 6:30. She made coffee and turned on the news while she got ready. The news anchor was talking about local job openings. Sandra never paid attention to the job opening segment, but this morning, something made her listen. One of the jobs mentioned was an administrative assistant position at a nonprofit. They were looking for someone with 5 years' experience. The pay range was $45,000 to $52,000. Sandra wrote down the name of the nonprofit. During her lunch break on Tuesday, she looked up the nonprofit online. It was an organization that helped low-income families with housing, the job. Description matched her skills almost perfectly. She felt a pull to apply, but immediately her mind said, "You are 55 years old. They will hire someone younger. This will be a waste of time. You are fine where you are." Sandra almost did not apply, but she remembered the woman on the bus saying, "You seem like a kind person," and she remembered the feeling of warmth that comment had created. She decided to apply, not because she thought she would get the job, but because it felt like a yes. Wednesday morning. Sandra woke from a dream. In the dream, she was standing at a bus stop. A bus arrived and the door opened. But instead of people getting off the bus, money started pouring out, coins and bills flooding onto the sidewalk. Sandra stood there trying to pick up the money, but it kept coming. She woke up before the dream ended. The dream stayed with her all day. It felt important, but she did not know what it meant. Wednesday night, she spoke the decree at 10:57. "I am supplied while I sleep." Thursday afternoon, Sandra received an email from the nonprofit. They wanted to schedule a phone interview for Monday. Sandra felt a surge of excitement followed immediately by a surge of fear. What if she messed up the interview? What if they rejected her? What if this was just another disappointment? Thursday night, she almost did not speak the decree. The fear was too loud, but she forced herself to say the words anyway. "I am supplied while I sleep." Friday morning. Sandra woke at 5:43 before her alarm. She felt agitated. She could not go back to sleep. She got up and made coffee. She sat at her small kitchen table looking out the window at the gray dawn. She thought about the interview. She thought about the dream. She thought about the woman on the bus. And suddenly, she had a clear thought. These are signs. The woman on the bus was a sign that kindness is noticed. The news segment was a sign that opportunity exists. The dream was a sign that supply is coming. The interview invitation was a sign that you are valued. Sandra sat with this realization. She had been dismissing everything as random. But what if nothing was random? What if everything was connected? What if the universe had been speaking to her all week and she had almost missed it? That night, Friday night, Sandra spoke the decree with new understanding. "I am supplied while I sleep." And she added, "Thank you for the signs." On Monday, Sandra had the phone interview. It went well. She felt calm and clear. She answered questions confidently. The end of the interview. The woman said, "We are interviewing 3 candidates and we will make a decision by Friday." Sandra thanked her and hung up. She felt good about the interview, but tried not to hope too much. That week, she continued speaking the decree every night. "I am supplied while I sleep." On Thursday afternoon, the nonprofit called. They offered her the position. Starting salary was $48,000, health insurance included, 2 weeks paid vacation. Start date in 3 weeks. Sandra accepted. When she hung up the phone, she sat at her desk and tears ran down her face. Not just because of the job, but because she finally understood how the signs worked. The universe had been guiding her all week. Small signs building to larger signs. A woman on a bus, a news segment, a dream, an email, an offer. None of these things had been random. All of these things had been correspondence. Her inner vibration had shifted through the nightly decree, and her outer circumstances had begun to correspond to the new vibration. This is how the golden sleep formula works. You speak the word before sleep. The word plants in your subconscious. The subconscious shifts your vibration. The new vibration sends out a signal. The universe responds to the signal, but the response comes in stages. First stage is microsigns, a thought, a feeling, a dream, an unexpected conversation. Most people dismiss these as coincidence, but these are the universe saying, "I hear you, I am responding." If you acknowledge the microsigns, the time, medium signs come, an opportunity, an invitation, a synchronicity, a door opening. If you acknowledge the medium signs, the macro signs come, an offer, a check, a change, a manifestation. But you must learn to read the signs. You must learn to trust that nothing is random. Every thought that occurs to you after you speak the decree is potentially a sign. Every person who crosses your path is potentially a messenger. Every dream is potentially a communication. The key is to pay attention without obsessing. You do not need to analyze every little thing. You do not need to find meaning in everything, but you do need to stay open, stay receptive, stay aware. When a thought occurs to you that feels different from your usual thoughts, follow it. When a person says something that seems to be exactly what you needed to hear, receive it. When a dream stays with you hours after waking, honor it. These are breadcrumbs, and the breadcrumbs lead to the bread. Tonight as you sleep, the signs are already being prepared. You may not see them tomorrow, but they are coming. Stay open, stay receptive, stay aware, and most importantly, trust. Trust that when you speak your word before sleep, you set something in motion. Trust that the universe hears. Trust that correspondence is happening, even when you cannot see it yet. You are a golden sleeper, and the universe is responding to you now. Rest now, and let the signs find you, because they will, they always do. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote extensively about timing. She said that in the divine mind, there is no time. Everything exists in the eternal now. But in the human experience, we live in linear time. We experience sequence, before and after, then and now. And so, there is a timing to manifestation. Not because the universe is slow, but because the human consciousness needs time to shift. You cannot go from poverty consciousness to wealth consciousness in one night. The shift happens in layers. Each night is a layer. Each layer builds on the previous layer. By the seventh night, the shift is complete. Enough for manifestation to occur in the physical realm. This is why Florence emphasized 7 as a sacred number. 7 days to create the world. 7 is the number of completion. 7 nights of speaking. Your decree is enough time for your subconscious to fully accept the new pattern. This does not mean nothing happens before the 7th night. Signs and synchronicities often begin within 48 hours, but the full manifestation, the tangible shift, usually requires the completion of the 7-night cycle, and then another 14 to 21 days for the manifestation to fully materialize in physical form. Most people give up too soon. They try for 2 nights or 3 nights, nothing obvious happens, and they conclude it does not work. But they stopped before the pattern could complete. It is like planting a seed and then digging it up after 3 days to see if it is growing. The digging up kills the seed. The seed needs to stay in the dark soil, underground, unseen, for the full gestation. Karen was 57 years old, and she worked as a substitute teacher. Her income was inconsistent. Some months she made $2,000. Some months she made $800. It depended on how many calls she got. She had no benefits, no health insurance through work, no paid time off. She lived in a small studio apartment that cost $740 per month. She was always in a state of low-grade financial anxiety, always wondering if she would have enough. When Karen learned about the golden sleep formula, she decided to try it, but she had one major obstacle: impatience. Karen was not good at waiting. She wanted results immediately. She wanted proof that things were working. On Sunday night, Karen spoke the decree: I am supplied while I sleep. Monday, nothing obvious happened. She worked 1 day of substitute teaching, made $87. Normal Monday night, she spoke the decree again. Tuesday, nothing obvious happened. No calls for work. She stayed home, felt anxious. Tuesday night, she spoke the decree, but she was starting to doubt. Wednesday, she got a call for 1 day of work, made $87. Still normal. Wednesday night, she almost did not speak the decree. She thought, this is not working. Nothing is changing. I am wasting my time. But she spoke it anyway, out of stubbornness more than faith. Thursday, no calls for work. She spent the day worrying, checking her phone every 20 minutes. No one called. Thursday night, she decided this was her last night. If nothing changed by Friday, she would quit. She spoke the decree with no enthusiasm: I am supplied while I sleep. Friday morning, Karen woke at 6:52. She checked her phone. No messages. By noon, still nothing. She felt defeated. She had tried for 5 nights and nothing had happened. She decided not to speak the decree Friday night. But then at 4:37 on Friday afternoon, her phone rang. It was a woman named Patricia. Patricia was the vice principal at a school where Karen had worked several times over the past 2 years. Patricia said, "Karen, I am calling because we have a situation. One of our 3rd grade teachers had emergency surgery this morning. She will be out for at least 4 months. We need a long-term substitute immediately. Can you start Monday?" Karen said, "Yes." Patricia said the pay is $240 per day, 5 days per week, for approximately 16 weeks. Karen did the math in her head. 240 times 5 is 1,200 per week. 1,200 times 16 weeks is $19,200. Guaranteed. For 4 months, Karen started crying on the phone. Patricia said, "Are you okay?" Karen said, "Yes, I am fine. I am just very grateful." Patricia said, "We are grateful too. You are reliable, and the kids like you. We will email you the contract tonight." Karen hung up. She sat on her couch in her studio apartment. She looked at her phone. 5 nights. She had almost quit after 5 nights. If she had quit, she would not have spoken the decree Friday night. And somehow that felt important. Even though the call came during the day, not after sleep, it felt like the decree had created an opening, and the opening had allowed this opportunity to find her. That night. Friday night, Karen spoke the decree with full presence. "I am supplied while I sleep." Over the weekend, she felt different. Lighter. More trusting. On Monday, she started the long-term position. The school was welcoming. The kids were challenging but sweet. The classroom was sunny with big windows. By the end of the first week, Karen felt something she had not felt in years. Stability. She knew she had income for 16 weeks. She could plan. She could breathe. But more than that, what she learned was about timing. If she had quit after 2 nights, she would have missed it. If she had quit after 5 nights, she would have missed it. The shift required the full 7 nights. And even then, the manifestation did not appear on the 7th night. It appeared 2 weeks after the 7th night. 3 months into the position, the 3rd grade teacher decided not to return. She took early retirement. The school offered Karen the permanent position. $46,000 per year, benefits, health insurance, retirement contributions. Karen accepted. 1 year later, Karen had saved $6,300. She had health insurance for the first time in 4 years. She had moved to a better apartment, and she traced all of it back to those 7 nights. To the practice she almost quit. To the decree she spoke even when nothing seemed to be happening. This is the principle of divine timing. The universe is always working, but the universe works in its own time, not your time. Your job is not to figure out the timing. Your job is to stay consistent with the practice. 7 nights minimum. Speak the decree before sleep. Trust that something is happening even when you cannot see it. Do not dig up the seed to check if it is growing. Let the seed stay in the dark. Let the process complete. And on the 7th night, or the 14th day, or the 21st day, the sprout will break through the soil, and you will see what was always growing beneath the surface. Tonight is night 1. You have 6 more nights ahead of you. Do not quit after 2 nights. Do not quit after 5 nights. Complete the 7 nights and then wait. Wait without forcing. Wait without obsessing. Wait with trust, because divine timing is perfect timing. Not early, not late. Right on time. Rest now and trust the timing. You are a golden sleeper, and the timing is unfolding perfectly, even now, even in the dark, even while you cannot see. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that when you speak your word, you are never alone. Even if you are lying in your bed by yourself in a dark room, even if no one in your physical life knows what you are doing, you are surrounded by invisible witnesses. These witnesses are not ghosts or spirits in the way most people think of them. These witnesses are the collective consciousness of everyone who has ever spoken a similar word, everyone who has ever decreed prosperity, everyone who has ever claimed supply, everyone who has ever aligned with abundance. Their energy, their vibration, their success creates a field. And when you speak your decree, you enter that field. You join that field. You are held by that field. This is not metaphor. This is morphic resonance. Rupert Sheldrake, the British scientist, coined this term. He demonstrated that when one member of a species learns something new, the learning becomes easier for all members of that species, even members who have no physical contact with the first learner. This happens because of invisible fields that connect all members of a species. The first person to learn something has to work hard. The 100th person finds it easier. The 1,000th person finds it natural because the field has been established. The same principle applies to manifestation. Florence Scovel Shinn was one of the first to establish the field of wealth through spoken decree before sleep. Every person who has practiced this teaching since then has strengthened the field. And now in this moment, there are thousands of people around the world speaking similar decrees before sleep. Some are speaking, "I am supplied," while I sleep. Some are speaking, "I am prosperous beyond measure." Some are speaking, "Money flows to me easily." The exact words vary, but the vibration is the same. And this creates a collective field of prosperity consciousness. When you speak your decree, you tap into this field. You are not creating the field alone. You are entering a field that already exists, and the field amplifies your individual decree. This is why writing day one in the comments matters. Not because the universe reads YouTube comments, but because when you write day one, you acknowledge that you are part of a collective practice. You become a conscious witness to others, and others become conscious witnesses to you. And conscious witnessing strengthens the field exponentially. Deborah was 66 years old, and she lived alone in a small apartment. She had been retired for 4 years. Her pension was $1,340 per month. Her rent was $690. Her medications cost about $180. She received a small amount of food assistance. She had no family nearby. Her husband had died 8 years earlier. Her 2 sons lived in other states. They called on holidays. They loved her, but they had their own lives, their own struggles. Deborah felt profoundly alone. Some days she did not speak to another human being. Some days she did not leave her apartment. Some days she wondered if anyone would notice if she disappeared. When Deborah found the golden sleep formula teaching, she watched the video 3 times. She read through the comments. She saw hundreds of people writing, "Day 1, people from all over the world, different countries, different time zones, all beginning the 7-night practice together." Something in Deborah shifted. She was not alone. There were hundreds, maybe thousands of people doing this with her. On Sunday night at 10:13, Deborah lay in her bed. Her apartment was cold as usual. She pulled the blankets up. She spoke the decree out loud. "I am supplied while I sleep." Then she added something. "And I speak this with the hundreds of others who are speaking it tonight." She felt a ripple, a presence, as if the room was suddenly less empty. She spoke the decree again. "I am supplied while I sleep," and this time she felt a warmth in her chest. She spoke it a 3rd time, "I am supplied while I sleep." Then she closed her eyes. She felt held, not physically, but energetically, as if invisible arms were holding her. She fell asleep within minutes. That night, Deborah dreamed. She was standing in a large circle with many other people. She could not see their faces clearly, but she could feel their presence. They were all holding hands, and they were all speaking the same words together. "I am supplied while I sleep," and the words created a vibration, a sound that was almost visible, like ripples moving outward from the circle. Deborah woke at 3:27 in the morning. The dream was still vivid. She lay in the dark, feeling the presence of the circle. Even though she was alone in her bed, she did not feel alone. Monday, she went about her day as usual, made coffee, watched television, ate a small lunch. At 2:37, her phone rang. She did not recognize the number. She almost did not answer, but something made Her pickup, it was a woman named Joyce. Joyce explained that she was calling from the community center. They were starting a new program called the Wisdom Circle. The program was designed to combat isolation among seniors. Participants would meet twice a week for 2 hours. They would share stories, support each other, have coffee and snacks. The program was free. And they were also offering a small monthly stipend to participants who committed to attending regularly. $50 per month, Joyce said. Your name was given to us by your neighbor, Mrs. Chen. Would you be interested in joining? Deborah said yes. The following Wednesday, Deborah went to her first Wisdom Circle meeting. There were 12 other women and 3 men, all over 60, all living alone, all carrying some version of her loneliness. They sat in a circle. Each person shared their name and one thing they were grateful for. When it was Deborah's turn, she said, I am grateful to be here with all of you. After the meeting, Deborah felt lighter than she had felt in years. She had spoken to 15 people. Real conversation, not just hello in passing. Real connection. Over the next 3 months, Deborah went to the Wisdom Circle twice a week. She made friends, she laughed, she cried, she felt seen, and she received $50 per month. Not much, but enough to buy something she wanted instead of only what she needed. But more important than the money was the witnessing. She witnessed others. Others witnessed her. And in that mutual witnessing, she felt less alone. One evening after a Wisdom Circle meeting, Deborah walked home with another woman named Helen. They were talking about their lives. Helen mentioned that she had been speaking a nightly decree for prosperity. Deborah stopped walking. She said, What do you mean? Helen explained about the golden sleep formula. About speaking, I am supplied while I sleep every night before bed. Deborah started crying. Helen looked concerned and asked, What is wrong? Deborah said, I have been doing the same practice I started 10 weeks ago. I had no idea you were doing it too. Helen smiled and said, There are probably thousands of us doing it. We are all connected. Deborah felt that ripple again, that presence. The invisible witnesses were not so invisible after all. They were everywhere, hidden in plain sight, speaking the same words, creating the same field. When Deborah got home that night, she lay in her bed. She spoke her decree. I am supplied while I sleep, and she felt the circle around her, felt Helen. Felt the other people at the Wisdom Circle, felt the hundreds of people writing day 1 in the comments, felt Florence Scovel Shinn, who started this teaching 100 years ago, felt all the invisible witnesses holding the field, and she understood she was never alone. None of us are alone. We are all connected through the word, through the decree, through the practice, and the collective field holds each individual. When you speak your word before sleep tonight, know that you are speaking with thousands of others. You may not know their names. You may never meet them, but they are there, in apartments and houses all over the world, speaking the same truth, I am supplied while I sleep. And together, you create a field of prosperity consciousness, a field that holds everyone who enters it. You are not alone in this practice. You are part of something larger, part of a collective awakening, part of a global shift. And every time you speak your decree, you strengthen the field for everyone. Your prosperity helps others prosper. Others' prosperity helps you prosper. This is not competition. This is cooperation. This is the principle of invisible witnesses. Rest now and feel the circle around you. Feel the field holding you. Feel the thousands speaking with you. You are a golden sleeper, and you are held by the collective field of golden sleepers. Together we rise. Together we receive. Together we remember that we are all supplied. While we sleep, you have heard about the golden sleep formula. You have heard about Florence Scovel Shinn, who discovered it. You have heard about the word as vibration that reorganizes water and matter. You have heard about identity that precedes manifestation. You have heard about resistance and the importance of continuing anyway. You have heard about signs and synchronicity and how to read the language of the invisible. You have heard about divine timing and why 7 nights matter. You have heard about invisible witnesses and the collective field. And now I will share with you the story that proves everything. The story of a woman who had nothing, and through this practice moved into having everything she needed. Her name was Sharon. She was 54 years old. She worked as a cashier at a pharmacy. She made $28,800 per year, which after taxes was about $1,900 per month. She had one daughter who was 16 years old. Her daughter's name was Emily. Sharon had been a single mother since Emily was 2. The father had left and never paid child support. Sharon and Emily lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. The rent was $880 per month. Electricity averaged $75. Water and trash were included. Phone was $65. Car insurance was $112. Gas for the car was about $90. Groceries were $400. That left Sharon with about $278 per month for everything else. Clothes, medicine, school supplies, emergencies. It was never enough. Sharon had a credit card, but it was maxed out at $3,200. The minimum payment was $95 per month. She could not afford the minimum payment most months. In April, Sharon received a notice from her landlord. She was 2 months behind on rent. She owed $1,760. The notice gave her 30 days to pay the full amount, or she and Emily would be evicted. Sharon had $127 in her checking account. She had no savings. She had no one to borrow from. Her mother had died 3 years earlier. Her father was in a nursing home. She had one sister who lived across the country and was dealing with her own struggles. Sharon felt a terror that went beyond fear. She had failed. She had failed her daughter. They were going to be homeless. She spent hours every night after Emily went to bed searching online. How to manifest money fast, how to avoid eviction, how to make money quickly. She found a lot of scams, a lot of false promises, a lot of desperation disguised as hope. On a Tuesday night in late April, at 11:47, Sharon was lying on her bed scrolling through videos on her phone. She could not sleep. She had not been able to sleep properly in weeks. Her stomach was in a constant knot. Her chest felt tight. Every sound made her jump. She found a video about the golden sleep formula. She almost scrolled past it. The title seemed too simple, too good to be true, but something made her click. She watched the video. She heard about Florence Scovel Shinn, about speaking a decree before sleep, about letting the night workers do their work. She read some of the comments, hundreds of people writing, Day 1, thousands of people trying this practice. Sharon felt something crack open in her chest. Not hope, exactly. More like surrender. She had tried everything else. She had nothing left to lose. That night, Tuesday, April 18th at 12:33 in the morning, Sharon lay in her bed in the dark. Emily was asleep in the room next. To hers, the eviction notice was folded in Sharon's purse. $127 was all she had. 30 days was all she had. Sharon whispered the words, "I am supplied," while I sleep. Her voice cracked. She started crying silently. How could she say I am supplied when she was about to be evicted? How could she say I am supplied when she could not feed her daughter properly? How could she say I am supplied when she had failed at everything? But she said it anyway. I am supplied while I sleep. She said it again through tears. I am supplied while I sleep. She said it a third time. I am supplied while I sleep. Then she cried herself to sleep. Wednesday, April 19th. Sharon woke at 6:30. She had to be at work by 8. She got Emily up, made her breakfast, packed her lunch, drove her to school, went to work, scanned items, made change, smiled at customers. Inside, she was screaming. Wednesday night, she came home exhausted. Emily was doing homework. Sharon heated up pasta for dinner. They ate. Quietly, Emily asked Mom, "Are you okay?" Sharon lied and said, "Yes, honey, I am fine, just tired." After Emily went to bed, Sharon sat on her couch staring at nothing. She almost did not speak the decree. What was the point? Nothing had changed. She still owed $1,760. She still had 28 days. She still had no solution. But she spoke the words anyway, not with faith, with automation. I am supplied while I sleep. Thursday, April 20th. Sharon worked a 10-hour shift. She came home at 8:30 at night. Emily had made herself a sandwich for dinner. Sharon felt like the worst mother in the world. Thursday night. She spoke the decree mechanically. I am supplied while I sleep. Friday, April 21st. Sharon woke at 6:50. She had dreamed something but could not remember what. Something about the pharmacy. Something about the shelves being different. During her shift on Friday, something unusual happened. Her manager asked if she would be interested in working overnight shifts. They were having trouble filling the overnight position, 2 nights per week, from 11 at night until 7 in the morning. The pay was $3.50 more per hour. Sharon did not want to work overnights. She wanted to be home when Emily woke up, but $3.50 more per hour, 2 shifts per week. That was 7 hours per shift. That was 14 hours per week. 14 times 3.5 equals $49 per week, times 4 weeks equals $196 per month. It was something Sharon said yes. She would start the following week. Friday night. Sharon spoke the decree, I am supplied while I sleep. This time, there was a small flicker. Saturday, April 22nd. Sharon did not work. She spent the day with Emily. They walked to the park. They sat on a bench. Sharon wanted to tell Emily about the eviction notice, but she could not find the words. Saturday night. Sharon spoke the decree, I am supplied while I sleep Sunday. April 23rd. Sharon was at the pharmacy buying a bottle of shampoo. An older woman was in line behind her. The woman was probably in her 70s. She had neat white hair and kind eyes. Sharon paid for her shampoo. As she was leaving, the woman said, "Excuse me." Sharon turned. The woman said, "You look tired. Are you okay?" Sharon felt tears forming. She barely knew this woman, but something about the kindness in the woman's voice broke something open. Sharon heard herself saying, "I am just stressed about rent." The words came out before she could stop them. The woman looked at her with such compassion. The woman said, "My son manages several apartment buildings. He is always looking for reliable tenants. Let me give you his number. He is understanding about people's situations. He works with people." The woman wrote a number on a small piece of paper. She handed it to Sharon. She said, "His name is David. Tell him Margaret sent you." Sharon took the paper. She thanked the woman. She went home. She looked at the number. She almost threw it away. What were the chances this would help? But Sunday night before bed, she decided she would call Monday. She spoke her decree, I am supplied while I sleep. Monday, April 24th. Sharon called the number during her lunch break. A man answered. She said, "Is this David?" He said, "Yes." She said, "Margaret gave me your number." She said, "You manage apartment buildings." He said, "Yes, I do." Sharon explained her situation. She had a 16-year-old daughter. She worked full-time. She was 2 months behind on rent. She was about to be evicted. She needed a place that was affordable and a landlord who would work with her on the deposit. She expected him to say, "Sorry, I cannot help." But he said, "I have a 2-bedroom available, $680 per month. It needs some paint, but it is clean and safe. If you can pay first month and half of the security deposit up front, I can work with you to pay the rest over 3 months." Sharon could not breathe. She said, $680 per month. He said, "Yes." She said, "Can I see it?" He said, "How about Thursday afternoon?" They set a time. Sharon hung up. She sat in her car in the parking lot. $680 was $200 less than her current rent. That was $200 per month she would save, plus the extra $196 from the overnight shifts. That was almost $400 per month, more than she had now. She could breathe, she could live, she could feed her daughter. Thursday, April 27th. Sharon met David at the apartment. It was a 15-minute drive from her current place. It was older but clean. It had 2 bedrooms, a small kitchen, a living room with a window. It felt safe. David said, "First month rent plus half security deposit is $1,020. Can you do that?" Sharon had $127. She needed to come up with $893 more. She had 1 week to avoid eviction at her current place. She said, "Can I let you know?" By Monday, David said sure. That night, Thursday, April 27th, Sharon spoke her decree. "I am supplied while I sleep." Friday, April 28th, Sharon worked her first overnight shift. The pharmacy was quiet at night. Only a few customers, mostly restocking shelves. At 3 in the morning, Sharon took her break. She sat in the back room. She checked her email on her phone. There was an email from the HR department, subject line correction, to pay calculation. Sharon almost deleted it, but she opened it. The email said, "We have identified an error in the calculation of your overtime hours for the past several months. In January, you worked 9 hours of overtime that were paid at regular rate instead of time and a half. In February, 6 hours. In March, 11 hours. In April, 3 hours. The total amount owed to you is $1,843. This amount will be deposited into your account with your next paycheck on May 1st. Sharon read the email 3 times. $1,843. She put her phone down. She put her head in her hands. She sat there in the break room at 3:17 in the morning and she cried. Not quiet tears, not silent tears. She sobbed. She sobbed with relief, with disbelief, with gratitude, with something that felt like being held. When she got home, Friday morning at 7:30, Emily was still asleep. Sharon lay down on her bed, fully clothed. She whispered, "Thank you." She whispered, "I am supplied while I sleep." She fell asleep. Monday, May 1st, Sharon checked her bank account. The deposit had come through, $1,843. She called David. She said, "I can give you $1,020. He said, "Great. When do you want to move in?" She said, "As soon as possible." He said, "How about May 12th? She said, "Yes." That night, Sharon called her current landlord. She said, "I will be moving out. May 12th. Here is 1 month rent." She paid $880. She still owed another $880 for the past due month, but she had until May 12th to vacate. The landlord could pursue the back rent, but Sharon would be gone. It was not perfect, but it was survival. On May 12th, Sharon and Emily moved into the new apartment, $680 per month, $200 cheaper. Plus, Sharon was making an extra $196 per month from overnight shifts. Plus, she no longer owed the maxed-out credit card minimum payment because she had paid off $700 of the balance and negotiated a lower minimum. She had $424 more per month than she had in April. $424. It was not wealth. It was not luxury. But it was breathing room. It was possibility. 1 year later, Sharon had saved $2,100. She had paid off the credit card completely. She had moved Emily into a nicer room. She had bought a used couch. She had purchased fresh food without checking every price. She had taken Emily to a movie. She had felt something she had not felt in years, security. And she traced every single bit of it back to those 7 nights in April, to the decree she spoke when she had nothing, to the words she whispered through tears, "I am supplied while I sleep." Sharon had not created money out of nothing. She had created an opening for the universe to respond. The response came through an extra shift, through a woman in line at a store, through a payroll error that was caught, through a series of seemingly small coincidences that added up to survival and then to stability. This is how the golden sleep formula works, not through miracles, through openings. And you are creating an opening right now. Tonight night, 1 of 7. You are speaking your word, and the universe is beginning to respond. You may not see it yet, but the response has begun. The wheels are turning in the invisible, and what is turning in the invisible will manifest in the visible. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but within 21 days of completing your 7 nights, something will shift. Not because you earned it, not because you deserved it, but because you aligned with it. Through the simple act of speaking truth before sleeping, you are a golden sleeper. And Sharon's story will be your story, in your own way, with your own details. But the pattern will be the same. You speak the word. You complete the 7 nights. You stay open to signs. You follow the guidance. You receive. And when you receive, you will remember this night, night 1. the night you began, the night everything changed. Not because the circumstances changed yet, but because you changed. Rest now, and let Sharon's story remind you that transformation is possible, that supply is real, that you are held even now, even in the dark, even when you cannot see, you are supplied. While you sleep, you have arrived at the seal. Even if you are sleeping, something in you is awake. Even if you cannot hear every word, something in you is listening. This part of you never sleeps. This part of you has been awake since you were born. This part of you will be awake until you take your last breath. And this part of you hears me now. Breathe with me now. You do not need to force your breath. Simply allow your breath to deepen naturally on its own. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils. Feel the air moving down your throat. Feel the air filling your lungs completely. Hold the breath for just a moment at the top. Then breathe out slowly through your mouth. Feel the warm air leaving your body. Feel your chest falling. Feel your belly softening. Again, breathe in slowly, counting to 4 in your mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a moment at the fullness. Breathe out slowly, counting to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Very good. Your body is relaxing now in waves. Every muscle is softening and releasing. Every cell is opening to receive. Every part of you is becoming receptive. Notice your toes now. Let them relax completely. Let any tension in your toes dissolve. Notice your feet. Let them become heavy. Let them sink. Notice your ankles and your calves. Let them soften. Let any tightness there melt away. Notice your knees and your thighs. Let them release all holding. Let them become loose and soft. Notice your hips and your lower belly. Let them relax deeply. This is where you hold. So much. Let it all go now. Notice your middle belly and your chest. Let your breathing become easy and natural. Let your heart rest. Notice your shoulders. They have been carrying so much weight. Let them drop away from your ears. Let them become soft and low. Notice your arms and your hands. Let them be completely loose. Let your fingers uncurl. Notice your neck and your throat. This is where you hold unspoken words. Let them all release now. Notice your jaw. Let it loosen completely. Let your teeth separate slightly. Let your tongue rest. Notice your face. Let your forehead smooth. Let your eyes soften in their sockets. Let your whole face become peaceful. Your entire body is relaxed now. Completely relaxed. Completely open. Completely ready. You are ready to receive the seal. The seal is not something I give you. The seal is something you claim for yourself through your own voice, through your own word, through your own decree. I will speak the seal 3 times. Each time I speak it, the vibration will deepen. The first time you may only hear the words. The second time you may feel the words in your body. The third time you may become the words. Listen now and let the words enter you. First wave. Tonight is night, 1 of 7. The golden sleep formula is activated in me now. My sleep is wealthy sleep, and it cannot be otherwise. Breathe. Feel those words settling into your chest, into your belly, into your bones. Second wave. Tonight is night, 1 of 7. The golden sleep formula is activated in me now. My sleep is wealthy sleep, and it cannot be otherwise. Let the words be louder now in your inner hearing. Let them vibrate through your whole body. Let them reorganize your cellular structure. Third wave. Tonight is night, 1 of 7. The golden sleep formula is activated in me. Now my sleep is wealthy. Sleep, and it cannot be otherwise. And now the seal of identity. Again, 3 waves. Each wave deeper than the last. First wave. I am a golden sleeper. Wealth comes to me while I rest. Solutions find me in the dark, and I cannot stop it. Feel these words claiming you, naming you, defining you. Second wave. I am a golden sleeper. Wealth comes to me while I rest. Solutions find me in the dark, and I cannot stop it. You are not trying to become a golden sleeper. You are remembering that you already are a golden sleeper. Third wave, I am a golden sleeper. Wealth comes to me while I rest. Solutions find me in the dark and I cannot stop it. And so it is sealed, and so it remains. 6 more nights await you, but tonight is already complete. You do not need to understand how this works. You do not need to believe perfectly. You do not need to do anything except rest. While you rest, the formula works. Your subconscious is reorganizing. Now, your vibration is shifting now. Your field is opening now. And when you wake tomorrow morning, you will be different. Not because something outside you changed, but because something inside you shifted. And that shift will change everything. Over the next 6 nights, the shift will deepen. Each night builds on the previous night. Each night strengthens what was planted tonight. By the 7th night, you will be fully anchored in the new vibration. And within 21 days of the 7th night, you will see evidence in your physical circumstances. The evidence will come in ways you cannot predict. Do not try to figure out how it will happen. Do not try to force it to happen. Simply continue speaking your decree each night before sleep. I am supplied while I sleep, or I am a golden sleeper. Choose one phrase and stay with it for all 7 nights. Consistency matters. Repetition matters. The subconscious learns through repetition. Tomorrow night when you return for night 2, you will receive the next layer of teaching. And the night after that night, 3 will bring another layer. Each night builds, each night deepens, each night seals. But tonight, night 1, is the most important night, because tonight is the night you said yes. Tonight is the night you began. Tonight is the night you claimed your identity as a golden sleeper, and that claiming is everything. Rest now completely. Let your body sink into whatever holds you. Let your mind release all effort. You do not need to remember everything you heard tonight. You do not need to understand everything. The important pieces have already planted in your subconscious. While you sleep, they will root. While you sleep, they will grow. While you sleep, they will transform you. You are safe. You are held. You are supplied. You are a golden sleeper. And tonight is night 1 of the rest of your life. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Sleep knowing that everything you need is already on its way to you. Not someday, not eventually. Now. In the invisible, in the quantum field. In the realm where all things exist before they manifest. Your supply already exists. Your wealth already exists. Your ease already exists. And tonight you aligned with it. Through one simple decree. Through one intentional word. Through one sacred act. Speaking truth before sleeping. This is the golden sleep formula. This is the teaching of Florence Scovel Shinn. This is the practice of thousands who came before you, and now it is your practice, your path, your transformation. Welcome, golden sleeper. Welcome tonight. 1. Welcome home. It is finished, and it is sealed, and it cannot be otherwise. And so it is rest now in complete peace. Everything that needed to happen has happened. Everything that needed to be said has been said. Everything that needed to be sealed has been sealed. You can let go of all effort. Now, you can let go of all trying. Now you can let go of all figuring out. Now you can simply be here, simply rest here, simply receive here. You can sleep now, deeply and peacefully. You can trust now, completely and fully. You can allow now, without resistance. Wealth comes to you while you sleep. Solutions come to you while you sleep. Clarity comes to you while you sleep. Ease comes to you while you sleep, and you are sleeping now, or you are drifting into sleep now, or you are about to cross the threshold into sleep now. And wherever you are in that journey is exactly right. There is no wrong way to receive this. There is no wrong way to sleep. There is no wrong way to be. You are perfect as you are. You are complete as you are. You are whole as you are. And tomorrow morning, when you wake, you will remember, or you will not remember. You will recall, or you will not recall, but it will not matter, because everything has already been planted, deep in your subconscious mind, deep in your cellular. structure, deep in your energetic field, and over the next 24 hours, it will root. And tomorrow night, you will return for night 2, and the rooting will deepen, and the night after that, night 3, and the rooting will strengthen, until by the 7th night, you are fully anchored, fully aligned, fully transformed. But tonight, this night, night 1 is already complete. You have done everything you needed to do. You have received everything you needed to receive. You are everything you needed to be. Good night, golden sleeper. Good night, beloved soul. Good night, precious being. Until tomorrow, when night 2 awaits, when the next layer unfolds, when the journey continues. But for now, rest, sleep, trust, let go. It is finished. It is done. It is sealed, and it cannot be otherwise. And so it is. And so you are a golden sleeper. Now and always, good night.